and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavour show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Okay, today we've got this stack of source material, and it's just packed with drama. Seriously intense stuff.
Yeah, it really is. We're talking emotional debt, huge life decisions.
Exactly. So our mission really is to sort of cut through all that noise and pull out the key insights. We're focusing on two main situations, both pretty high pressure.
Right. One is about a big career move, potentially changing the future of farming, the whole legacy question.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is, well, it's about the emotional weight on someone who's just about to get out of prison.
So you, the listener, you're basically getting a front row seat to these massive choices. Loyalty, ambition, second chances. It's all in there.
We're going to be dissecting these transitions, looking at everything from like high-tech farm stuff to some really raw personal moments.
It's definitely a deep dive.
Yeah.
Loyalty, purpose, what it costs to move on. Let's start with Stella. She's landed this job offer that sounds, well, pretty amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you care about farming and the environment.
Oh, absolutely. The sources make it clear she just nailed the interview. You can feel the excitement.
Yeah.
And this isn't your standard farm manager job, not at all.
Right, it's different. More strategic.
Exactly. It's about building resilience, profitability into farming systems. Based up in North Borsech, apparently it's about an hour's commute, but maybe work from home sometimes, which feels very modern.
Yeah, definitely. And the work itself. She called it what the future of farming should be all about. We should probably break that down a bit for you listening. Regenerative farming plans across several farms.
That's the core of it. Regenerative farming practices trying to, well, reverse climate change, rebuild the soil, bring back biodiversity. It's about making the land healthier, basically.
And her role is built around proving it works scientifically.
Pretty much. Running soil health assessments, and this is key, carbon baselining.
Okay, carbon baselining. For you listening, that just means measuring how much carbon is already stored in the soil right now. Why is that the first step? Why is it so critical?
Because without that starting point, you can't measure change. Once you have the baseline, farms can track and even predict their future soil sequestration rates.
Sequestration meaning pulling carbon out of the air.
Exactly. Pulling CO2 out of the atmosphere and locking it into the soil. And here's the kicker. If you can measure it, you can potentially monetize it. Turn good environmental work into actual income.
Okay, so it's impact you can count, literally count.
Right. Quantifiable impact that pays.
And she's looking at other concrete things too. Local food markets, flood prevention, cleaner water, all based on science.
Yeah.
She knows it'll be hard work coordinating, chasing funding, building networks, but it's a path defined by, well, innovation.
Yeah, it's the opposite of just sticking with the status quo. It's a fresh start, looking forward.
Which makes Brian's counteroffer so dramatic. Just as she's got this clear modern path opening up, boom. The pull of tradition. Brian, the patriarch from home farm.
And we really need to get Brian's situation here. He's not just dealing with running this huge farm as he gets older, he's also dealing with profound grief after losing Jenny. The sources suggest he's very vulnerable right now.
And that vulnerability leads to a confession.
A painful one. He admits he behaved like an absolute imbecile. Specifically mentions arguing with Justin, blowing up the contract, the very reason Stella left in the first place.
Wow, so this offer isn't just professional, it's personal. An apology almost. He wants her back to manage home farm till the next generation is ready.
That's the pitch. He says he'll ride off into the sunset, just attend the odd board meeting.
But will he really? Or is this him trying to hand off the problems he created to someone competent because he's worried?
That's the question, isn't it? He's clearly anxious about who takes over. He lays it out. Adam, his son, nearly 60, not pragmatic enough. Alice is happy with her stables. Debbie's in Hungary. Rory's keen, but Brian says he has an awful lot to learn.
So he sees a gap, a competence gap in his own family. And he's trying to plug it with Stella, the person who already quit because of his imbecilic behavior. Is this really about legacy? Or just stopping the whole thing from falling apart?
It raises a really interesting point about risk. That North Borsech job, it's challenging, sure, but it's defined. Funding for specific, measurable projects. Brian's offer, it's undefined.
Yeah.
Inherit this massive, complex operation tangled up in family drama, run by someone admitting failure.
And Stella's hesitant. She actually says, I don't want you to give up your farm. She's worried about his feelings, even with this amazing offer on the table for herself.
Right. She's caught managing his emotions while holding this ticket to her own future.
So the choice: build a new legacy based on carbon credits and clarity, or prop up an old one built on regret and, frankly, chaos.
Okay, let's shift gears from like the architecture of careers to the architecture of emotions. While Stella's dealing with future purpose, George is facing this immense pressure of rebuilding his life after prison.
Yeah, the transition out is always tough, but George has specific worries. Only 2 weeks left, and the sources mentioned he's concerned about safety.
He feels he needs to be looking over his shoulder because he helped get that Markey guy arrested.
Right, and that feeds into this internal pressure, doesn't it? He desperately wants to prove he's not a loser. To everyone, but maybe mostly to himself.
Absolutely. That phrase, not a loser, seems to be driving his immediate plans. Simple things first. Have a beer, but also get his business going again.
And his partner, Emma, she's already planning for that,
What?
making space.
Yeah, practical steps. Turning his old room into a shared studio for his farm videos, for content. Trying to build that foundation for a normal life, you know?
Mm-hmm. Grounding him.
But then we get the really heartbreaking part. Bartleby, his animal, who we find out is quite poorly.
Oh, boy.
Severe arthritis. Struggling even to get up. It sounds really bad.
Oh, no. And Emma and Pip find out, and they face this awful decision. Tell George now, or wait.
Exactly. Their first instinct is not to tell him. They're worried, understandably, about the anxiety, the emotional load it would put on him right before release. These last 2 weeks are so fragile.
But they can't keep it secret, can they?
No, George himself forces the issue. He says the very first thing he wants to do when he gets out is go see Bartleby.
Oh, man. So they have to tell him.
They have to. And his reaction, it's intense. He apparently shouts, "Don't touch me." His distress isn't just sadness, it's focused on the unfairness. Why now? 2 weeks before he's free.
And he says something about Bartleby being the only one he could count on.
Yeah. He's the only one I could count on. He was always pleased to see me. Bartleby was his anchor, that unconditional connection during his time inside. Losing that, or the fear of losing it right now, it's devastating.
So what do Emma and Pip do? How do they handle it?
They fall back on what you might call a compassionate white lie. Emma tells him Meg, the vet, is doing absolutely everything to help Bartleby hang on.
Trying to give him some hope.
Exactly. They even describe how gorgeous Bartleby looked just yesterday, nudging them. Trying to paint a picture of stability, even though they know the reality is grim, it's a desperate move to manage his despair.
And all this intense personal drama is happening while outside, life just carries on with its own almost silly chaos.
It's such a contrast. The sources give these little snapshots, like the flower and produce show chaos. 2 of them, one gets ruined because wedding guests ate the exhibit.
Ate the entries, seriously.
Apparently so. And then you have Brian, same Brian, offering Stella the farm, getting into a shouting match with Justin Elliott at the school harvest festival.
Oh, come on.
Ended only when Alice, who's supposed to be happily running the stables, had to step in before they started throwing tins of donated food at each other.
Wow. So George is grappling with this existential fear about his only stable connection, and Brian's out there arguing in public like a teenager. The contrast is stark.
It really highlights the different scales of crisis, doesn't it? Hashtag tag synthesis and application.
Okay, let's try and pull these two quite different stories together, Stella and George, both under huge pressure, but the common theme seems to be transition, right? And finding purpose.
Definitely. And the burden of expectation. Stella's deciding what kind of legacy to build, this clear, modern, innovative one, or the messy, traditional one tied to Brian's failures.
While George is just fighting to build any legacy that isn't loser, his focus is immediate survival, proving competence.
And look at the risk profiles again. Stella's potential new job in regenerative ag, it has challenges, yeah, but there's a clear model. Quantifiable outcomes, monetizing carbon sequestration, it feels forward-looking, potentially sustainable.
Whereas Brian's offer, it's not really about success, is it? It feels more like he's asking her to manage decline, or at least stagnation, until young Rory is maybe ready. She wouldn't be inheriting a thriving legacy, she'd be inheriting Brian's emotional baggage and operational mess.
Exactly. She'd be inheriting his debt, in a way. Emotional and possibly financial.
And George. He's facing his own kind of succession crisis with Bartleby. His anchor, his constant, is failing right when he needs stability the most. The fear of that loss forces him to confront how fragile everything feels, just as he's trying to rebuild.
Yeah, it's brutal. Both Stella and George are kind of being asked to absorb damage caused by others. Brian's mistakes, and just the harsh reality hitting George via Bartleby.
So the key insight here maybe is about what legacy even means. For Brian, it seems to be about holding on to the thing, home farm, no matter its health.
Well, for Stella, it could be about choosing a function regenerative farming that actually contributes something positive.
And for George, legacy is maybe just proving he can survive, be competent, be worthy, escape the label.
The stakes are incredibly high for both. Stella, innovation or obligation. George, despair or that powerful, maybe dangerous drive to prove himself. Hashtag outro.
So wrapping up, we've really dug into some specifics today. The details of regenerative farming, like carbon baselining, the messy reality of family succession when the person in charge can't let go.
And the intense psychological pressure on someone coming out of prison, the anxieties and the difficult, compassionate lies sometimes told by loved ones trying to protect them.
Which leaves us with that final thought to chew on, particularly for Stella. She's got this choice: the clear modern path, quantifiable innovation, or the emotional pull, trying to fix this foolish man's very established problem, which is actually the bigger risk. A brand new challenge, or inheriting a known massive mess built on regret?
That's a great question. And for George, that drive, that need to prove he's not a loser, it's powerful fuel. But could it also push him towards reckless choices as he tries to rebuild fast? What's the real cost of protecting reputation versus ensuring stability? Something for you, the listener, to consider as you navigate your own challenges, big or small.
So what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just
And,
moving mics around.
So what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the archers. Any
Are you what we call Foley then?
kind of, yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep, that's the ball bar. That's,
This one.
yep, that's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline.
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever